part 2. So sometimes you're not given the formula, but in fact you're going to have to choose the formula. So in this case, I need to determine what formulas I need. I need to identify in those formulas the variables, what the variables stand for. I need to determine what information, so in other words, numbers, I need or do I need to find them. I need to organize my solution, and I need to organize it using English words. Okay, so it's a little bit different than the other one. So I'm going to use some English in order to help organize our solution. And again, I need to make sure that my units are all the same. So let's look at this example. So obviously I've got two pictures here. I'm not even going to go to the words. I can see it looks like a rectangular prism of some sort, a box, and I don't know, a pail or something. It's got a handle on it. So now I'm going to read the question. So the question says, a landscaper uses a bucket, okay, so that's probably the bucket, with radius 18 centimeters and a height of 18 centimeters to pour soil into a rectangular planter that measures 1 meter by 40 centimeters by 20 centimeters. Okay, so that's what my two pictures are. How many buckets of soil are needed to fill the planter? So I have to, it sounds like I'm going to take this bucket and I'm going to fill it up and keep emptying it into this rectangular planter until it won't hold anymore. So I want to know how many times I have to put that in there. Well, I would need to know how much soil my bucket holds as well as how much soil this rectangular planter holds. So the English that I would need to do is I'm talking about volume of this bucket, and that bucket is the shape of a cylinder. You can see that. So that's where my English is going to come in. So I know that I have to figure out the volume, and we better not do disappearing ink here. So this is my solution. So I need to find volume bucket. Okay, and we decided that the bucket was actually a cylinder. So that's the volume of a cylinder, which is, I need to go find the formula. So we have our formula sheet. So that's pi r squared h. Okay, so I need to find out how much soil will go into one bucket. I also need to find then the volume of my planter. And the planter is a rectangular prism. And I know the volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height. So now what I need to do is I need to go see if I have the information that I want. I'm going to start with my bucket. My bucket, in order to use the formula for my bucket, I need to know the radius and height. Well, the radius here is 18 and the height is 18. The picture shows it, and so does the information up here. It says 18 and 18. Okay, so we're going to substitute that information into our formula. Let's bring it down here a bit. So we have pi 18 squared times 18. So actually that's 18 cubed. And we pull out our calculator, and by the magic of Mrs. Brodhagen's calculator, we end up with 18,321.77, and my units were the same. I did check it, centimeters, and it's cubed because we're talking about volume. All right, so now I know at least how much soil the bucket will hold. Now when I go over to the planter, I'm going to look at it, and I have an issue. The issue that I have is that I have one measurement that's in meters and two others that are centimeters. Now I could change everything to meters, but my problem is I calculated my bucket in centimeters. So I need to calculate 1 meter into centimeters, and you should know that as being 100 centimeters. Okay, so that's what I need to do first. So I've converted it. It's a matter now taking these three numbers and substituting it into our volume formula for our planter. And when we do that, we end up with 100 times 20 times 40. And so we have 800 there, so we have 80,000 centimeters cubed that my rectangular planter will hold. So we have the amount that the bucket holds, we have the amount that the planter holds, so now it's just a matter of calculating how many buckets will go in. So again, I'm going to use some English. So I'm going to calculate the number of buckets, excuse me. And when I'm calculating the number of buckets, I know that's going to equal the volume of planter. That didn't look very good. Volume of planter divided by the volume of the bucket. Now, the reason we want to use English, it makes our solution so much clearer for someone else who picks up our material. So it's just a matter of taking 80,000, divide it by the 18,000, oops, 18,321 sorry, my cursor pen doesn't want to go, decimal 77. And when I do divide that, I end up with 4.4. So it doesn't work evenly. So it's going to take me 4 full buckets and almost another half bucket. So therefore, my statement is you would need 4.4 buckets. Oops, that didn't look nice. 4.4 buckets of soil. Okay, so there's two different types of questions. One where they give you a formula and you're just pulling out the information, and a question like this where you have to determine what kinds of formulas you need, do some converting, and come up with your answer. Good luck with your questions.